Today we'll be talking about how to play the triangle here on the Percussion Discussion. So first things first, what do you need to play the triangle? Well, first of all, you're going to need a triangle. Second of all, you're going to need a triangle clip. And yes, I do recommend using a triangle clip over a piece of fishing wire or string for a couple of reasons. First of all, the clip gives your fingers a great place to rest when they're holding the triangle, which gives you a very steady grip on the triangle and gives you lots of control while you're playing. Secondly, it gives your front fingers lots of freedom to come down and mute the triangle whenever that's necessary in a piece. And then lastly, the clip on top allows you to attach the triangle to a stand or a table when it's not in use, allowing your hands to rest. And then of course, the final thing you need to play the triangle is a triangle beater. Next, let's talk about how to hold the triangle. So when you're playing, you want to make sure that that open gap in your triangle is towards your non-dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so that gap is going to go towards my left hand. When I put my clip on, I'm just going to slide it in, and it's going to be facing forward, making sure that that gap is still towards my non-dominant hand. Now, when most people hold the triangle clip, they're going to use their thumb and their first finger. When I hold my clip up, I'm going to put my thumb under the back and my first finger under the front. This will give me a nice stable and solid grip on the triangle, while also ensuring that my hand is not in contact with the triangle, avoiding any unnecessary muting. Now we'll move on to how to play the triangle. So when you're playing, you always want to make sure that you're facing your conductor and that the triangle is between your eyes and the conductor. So for now, I'm going to pretend that my conductor is that way and I'm looking over my stand towards the conductor. I'm going to hold my triangle up to about eye level so that when I'm looking at my triangle, I can also see my conductor down line. And that way, when I play, I'm always right in time with the conductor, watching his hands while I'm doing my part. Now, next, we're going to talk about beating position. So a lot of people will just kind of walk up to a triangle, they'll just hit it and think nothing different of it. But believe it or not, depending on where you hit a triangle, you're going to get a very different sound. And there is a sound that we're looking for. So when you're playing, you want to try to have about a 45-degree angle, and you're going to hit on this bottom third of the triangle. Now try not to ever hit a 90-degree angle, and also try to not hit horizontally on the triangle. And here's why. When you hit at a 45-degree angle, you're going to get lots and lots of overtones, and you're not going to get a distinct tone from the triangle. And this is exactly what we want. That'll sound great over an orchestra, and it'll fit into most any piece. However, when you hit it at a 90-degree angle, or you hit it horizontally, you're going to get a very clear tone, which is not a nice sound to your audience. And a lot of times, it's not going to work with the piece that you're playing. So, always try to do a 45-degree angle. It's not exactly a distinct science. Just try to get somewhere in there and get as many overtones out of your triangle as possible. Now, to actually play, you want to make sure that you have a very light stroke. When you're holding the triangle beater, I normally just put these 4 fingers on the bottom, my thumb on the other side. That gives me a nice fulcrum to play with. So when I go to play, I'm going to do it without the triangle this time. I just kind of want to go down, hit, and bring the triangle back up. If you play timpani, you're very familiar with lift. You're just doing a little bit of lift, meaning bringing the stick back after you hit, so that you're only touching the instrument for as long as you need to and not making any weird tones or muting it unnecessarily. So on the triangle, I'm going to go in, hit, bring out. I'll do that 4 times as an example. Hopefully you could see that I was always following through, making sure that my stroke came all the way back. That just ensured that I'm always getting a clean tone, I'm not playing too heavily, and I'm also not playing too lightly because I'm thinking about the stroke all the way through. So, as an exercise to go ahead and get used to the stroke, we're simply going to do 8 beats on the triangle. And I want you to go ahead and mute the triangle with your fingers so that you can only hear the articulation and you don't have to deal with all the ringing right now. So, I'm just going to do it 4 counts and we'll play 8 beats on the triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. So your goal there is to make sure that you have a very consistent tone on it. You want to make sure that you're not hearing any particular tone come out of the triangle. Just make sure you have overtones. I know we're muting, but you should still be able to hear quite a few overtones coming out of the triangle. And we also want to make sure that we're keeping a steady rhythm because many triangle parts in orchestra and wind ensemble are steady eighth or quarter notes. So this time, let's do it with the triangle ringing so that we can hear all those overtones and make sure that our sound is staying completely consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wonderful. So there is your single stroke on the triangle. Now we'll talk about how to do a simple roll on the triangle. Now this does get a little more difficult because you're changing the position of your hand to accommodate for the new playing position, and you're also going to be hitting on both your upstroke and your downstroke. The proper placement for a roll in a triangle is going to be in this corner right here. So when I go to play, I'm going to be hitting the bottom here, and I'm going to be hitting the side here. Now I know that you're hitting it at a horizontal angle, but because of how many times you're hitting the triangle while you're playing, it's not really going to matter in the context of a piece. So in order to play a roll, I'm just going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, for as long as the roll remains. So we're going to do the same thing as last time, except we're going to be doing it in 8th notes instead of quarter notes like we did last time. And we're just going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for 8 beats. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the simple foundation of a roll. It's going to sound very choppy right now because we're not doing a high speed of roll, but that's okay. Again, this is only about consistency and making sure that you have the technique down. So let's do it without muting this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so there's your triangle roll. Now we're going to put the single strokes and the rolls together. So we're going to do 8 single beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to go into a roll, which will be 8th notes compared to the quarter notes that we were playing before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just let off after that. We will mute it this time so you can hear the consistency of your touch and make sure that you got the technique down before we start hearing the overtones of the triangle. Now, do remember, you're making sure that you have your 45-degree angle while you're down here, and then you're going to change your playing position into the corner when we go into the roll. So, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So you're probably seeing me where I'm kind of holding the triangle out at an on angle. Don't do that. Always keep it horizontal to your body. I'm just doing that so you can actually see what I'm doing inside the corner of the triangle. All right, so now we're going to do it without ringing. Or excuse me, without muting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So if we speed that exercise up, it's going to sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the more comfortable you get with your rolls, the faster you can go and the more even of a sound that you can achieve. So when I get into faster rolls, like I may play for Carnival Overture or something like that, you're going to get a sound like this. For me to increase the volume of the roll, I'm going to go further out into the triangle, meaning I'm going to have a much larger stroke between both sides. And of course, that means that the opposite will give me a quieter sound. So going much closer into the corner. And that is the simple basics on how to play a triangle. Thank you for joining me here on the Percussion Discussion. If you have any questions or suggestions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments section. And if you want to see more percussion-related content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll have more content out soon. Take care. Goodbye.